There are many of us those who one moment feel bored from ordinary everyday life, from home to work and back home, try to diversify this routine. I think the best way to do that is to go on a trip. Modern technologies, social networks give us the possibilities to tell and even show our stories. And I also want to tell you about my trip. And here is my story. Once upon a time, one smart fella said, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And my first step was creating a road. First, I planned to go from Estonia to China, till the Pakistan border, but when I learned what it was to get to China with own vehicle, I had nothing left to do but to change my road. Then my choice was Mongolia. But very soon I realized that it was only to cross Russia, Mongolia and drive back was not enough for me. I wanted my trip to be longer, and I continued to think. Till one moment. Hi Marek, how are you?
Hello, Konstantin. How are you? I hope you are not already in Mongolia.
No, I'm not.
Then you will probably make another trip to Portugal, because I would like to invite you for wedding.
Okay, we're in Portugal.
In Lisbon. And I'm really happy when you come in. Okay?
Okay, then I just take my motorcycle and I'll go to Lisbon. See you in Lisbon. And nice to hear it. And voila, the road was created. So here I am in Belarus. During my trip last year, I stayed for a few days in Ukraine, and that was my worst destination ever. Absolutely destroyed roads, permanent arrogance, trash everywhere, and even robbery attempt. This time I wanted to avoid all of this, so I went to Belarus, and my first stop was in capital, in Minsk. Throughout its history, Minsk burned down several times. During World War II, it was basically swept out of existence, and that's why there is not much left to see today. Some nice places, and the Museum of History of the Great Patriotic War with interesting exhibition. Couple of days I spent in Minsk were really nice. I had meetings with my friends who I hadn't seen for a long time. And then, later, I went to Brest. In Brest, I really wanted to see one but very special place, the fortress of Brest. Today these ruins are just a silent monument of the events of June 1941, when Nazi Germany attacked Soviet territory without proclaiming a war and without warning. The next day, early morning, after a cup of coffee and packing my luggage, I went towards the border with Poland. This day my destination was a small town in Slovakia, Spiška Nova Ves, where my good friend was already waiting for me. Away in Slovakia, not far from the border with Poland, close to Svidnik, one was silent monument to the events that took place in this area in autumn 1944, the Dukla Pass Battle Monument, where Soviet tank T-34 rams German tank Panzer IV. Nice bowl-shaped town in Slovakia, Spiška Nova Ves, was established in 1268. Population today around 40,000 people.
Thank you very much for everything. See you next time. It's time to leave Spiška Nova Ves. Bye-bye. in Austria. It's hot as hell here. Still a long way to drive.
This day was a really long ride, from Spiška Novest till one fairy tale beautiful lake in Austria, Achensee. I had to cover 900 kilometers and weather was hot as hell. I had feeling that my head in the helmet just like in the microwave oven. Achensee or Lake Aachen in Austrian Alps in Tyrol region has maximum depth of 133 meters, almost 10 kilometers long, and the widest part is 1 kilometer. Water in the lake rarely gets warmer than 20 degrees Celsius. I was hoping to have a meeting with my good friend on Achensee Lake, but she was busy with her work and I didn't have time to wait any longer. And I drove to Switzerland. My next stop for a cup of coffee was in Vaduz, the capital of Liechtenstein. The most interesting attraction of the capital of Principality of Liechtenstein, of course, is the castle on the hill, the castle of Vaduz. Construction began in 12th century. Today this is the residence of Prince of Liechtenstein and is closed for tourists. After Vaduz, I arrived to Montreux, which is on Lake Geneva shoreline, with hopes to see that smoke on the water, but first I needed to find a shelter for the next night. And a very big disappointment was when I had to pay 50 euro for one night in a simple hostel.
Okay, it's time to leave Montreux. Very nice place, but extremely expensive. For example, for this hostel, I paid something like 50 euro for night in a hostel. Probably was most expensive hostel I have ever slept in. Lake Geneva, little bit smoke on the water. Now it's time to go to France.
And here I am in France.